Let's take just a quick moment of silence for two members, which are Ron Cooper, who has passed away since our last meeting, and for Derek Stempa also. Okay. Note that in the minutes too, please. Public comments. Any public comments? Can you state your name, please, for us?
Jason Hippus. Okay. We're at 221 West 3rd Street in Toronto here. We wanted to bring up a few concerns to you guys about some of the stuff that's kind of been going on in the neighborhood, and also with Steve Dreher, who's been working with the, I believe it's the maintenance department with the rental
Concerning
homes
rental homes.
and that type of thing. So we were just wondering why why in a way the county's buying homes and renting them out in the area, especially the home on 412 North Franklin Street, which is the home that we're here talking about. It really has had a large impact on us, as well as the property value for the surrounding areas. Before the county took the house over, which I want to say was around 5 years ago, they had bought it from Gordon Bijou, I think.
I don't know what's
I
that.
can't remember what his last name was.
Very nice.
The house was really in good shape. The yard was in great shape. Everything was in order. Shortly after, trees started growing up in the foundation, in the garage, like right inside the garage, into the gutters. The grass hasn't been maintained at all. Typically, we end up mowing the lawn in between the homes on their property to keep it short. Really, the yard is basically just full of weeds, overgrown, picking up garbage all the time. And just recently, there was a new tenant that moved in sometime in February, and we've just been facing a whole lot of other things that have been going on. I just wanted to go over a couple of those things. First of all, when the new neighbors moved, I think it was in February, within a short period of time, the police had visited the house, surrounded the house, and took some people into custody with guns drawn. We had conversations with Steve last year. I just want to step back just a second. We had conversations with Steve Dreher last year about buying our property just because of the similar situations with the home and all that stuff. And we had heard that there was interest in the county picking up the homes on the two blocks, I guess basically from the historical site down to, I think it's 4th Street. Yeah,
3rd Street.
3rd Street. And I was about to say
4th?
Yeah, I think it was the 2 blocks, I think, is where they were buying. Steve had mentioned to us that the county was not interested in obtaining that property. So we did put it on the market for a while, and we did have a lot of people come through and look at it. We had absolutely no bids. And although we didn't get comment on it, there was a lot of indication that the neighborhood was what was some of the deciding factor of that. Then stepping back into what's been going on just recently, on Monday, March 23rd, the next door neighbor had actually hit my daughter's car, part of the side of the road, and we have a surveillance system and had it on video. So we handed that in. The incident happened about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and
Our children were walking home from school.
the kids were all out of school. She fled the scene. The police ended up picking her up down the
No
road.
proof she was driving.
They didn't have the solid proof that she was driving. So essentially, we were out a car. There was no insurance. There was another strange occurrence that happened with that, and I'm not sure why this happened, and the police really weren't either, but apparently the county denied ownership of the house at that point in
They
time.
were trying to find out who owned the home, and they said they had called and called and called, and that it was denied, that nobody owned it. And we knew it was the county.
And it took them quite a while to figure out who actually owned the house. So that was just something that hit me as being a little bit odd about that situation. Then shortly after, I want to say, it must have been, I think, sometime in April, I was out in the yard working on my daughter's car, getting it fixed up, and 3 or 4 squad cars pulled in. It was about 5 police officers that hopped out and again surrounded the house with the guns and demanding that people come out of the house.
Put my kids in the bathtub, didn't want to do it.
Yeah. After this happened, right around this incident, we also found a full beer bottle outside of the living room window. It was just another odd thing that it was sitting right outside the window. My wife, again, she had talked with Steve about the incidents that had been happening sometime in March, I think, right after the.
It was right after the car thing.
And but the stuff that's been taking place, Steve assured us they were looking into it, and that they were going to be evicting the tenants
They were getting them out.
for the different things that were going on. As of today, the tenants are still there. We were told that they were being evicted as of June 1st. It does appear that they're moving, but they are still there.
Dumping oil into the driveway, and there's garbage coming into our yard. I couldn't even mow the area that I normally mow for them because there was so much garbage in there. And I just don't feel safe outside with my kids. Not even in my backyard. It's connected to theirs.
I guess the latest occurrence was over Memorial Weekend. I was in the garage with my uncle working on one of our cars, getting the car fixed for when it was smashed. We looked over, and there was a younger gentleman standing in my garage with his back turned towards me, urinating outside of the
Usually our kids were up there with them.
This was in daylight.
In the garage.
I told him that I was going to call the cops. He said, call the cops. So we called the cops. We had them over. The police had informed us that they have had a lot of trouble with the county getting the people out of the house, and that they were starting a process to actually start fining the county because they weren't acting and getting the people out of the house.
Do you remember what police officer you talked to in the city?
Tyler was the officer's first name.
Was it Warhol or something? I have
Warhol?
Is that right?
Warhol?
Is there one?
Yeah.
Okay. They were gonna be fining the city up to $1,400 a time, depending on how many officers they needed to deal with the people that were there. Doesn't make for a safe neighborhood for us either way.
It does appear they're moving out.
Yes.
It does appear
I
that.
drove
yeah.
past before I came to the meeting.
Right.
I just pulled my paperwork out to see what the address was.
But my main concern too is, when they do move out,
We need to
what are we
clean it
gonna
up.
get next?
Right.
Well, what are we gonna be faced with next? Another pile of junks and druggies? Because that's what they are. They've had kids taken out of there being abused and everything. It's like, it's nothing, we own our home. We didn't sign up for this.
Right.
It just doesn't seem fair for us or even the neighborhood, the whole neighborhood. Our neighbors next door are pretty upset about it too because, they're very close.
Yeah, we have both, 3 neighbors right in that area that were very concerned as well. they would have been willing to come tonight too, I'm sure, but we just kind of wanted to come and talk to you from our perspective.
Thank you.
So, I guess that just kind of in closing on everything,
We would like to see something more done than just the cleaning up the property and re-renting it. I mean,
I really
I
think.
would rather, I mean, personally, if you want all the houses and you want to rent them out, and you just want to have them, so if, whatever you plan to do later on in life, that's fine, then buy our house. Otherwise, knock that one over. Because it's to that point where, I mean, when it went out of ownership from the previous owner.
Yeah, it's been disruption ever since, and I really think if this is the case, I don't.
And I feel like there's ill feelings because we got the house that we did in the first place. And that, it's been mentioned to us a couple times that the county was outbid. And that there was some salty feeling because of that. Now, I don't know who's bidding.
Yeah.
It's been mentioned to us several times. So.
Well, that is definitely an option for us to look at with that property, because that's not much of a house.
Well, we will certainly, if and when these individuals leave,
It might have to be torn down anyway at that point.
we may have to reevaluate what it looks like.
And for the safety of the community, I mean, I would hope as, even the board and the
I'll
county as a
guarantee you,
whole
if they
should
get
be
moved out, the
concerned.
house is not gonna be immediately rented out anyhow.
There should be some concern for the safety of the community too.
We can take a couple minutes
Yes.
and bringing that to our attention.
Okay, I gotta cut you off, though, you're over your 10 minutes, but
No
thank you. We thank you for coming forward.
Yeah, we really appreciate you guys hearing us all on this too.
Okay.
There's lots of kids in it, there's lots of kids in the neighborhood, so.
Yeah.
It's a pretty big deal.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. Have a nice evening.
Okay. Any other public comments? None? Review and approve the minutes of the previous meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve minutes from previous meeting.
Second.
A motion's been made and seconded to approve the minutes from the previous meeting. All those in favor signify by saying, or is there any additions or corrections? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? A motion to deviate, a motion may be made and seconded to deviate from the posted agenda.
I'll make that motion to deviate.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded to deviate. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Do we want to deviate any place, or do we want to move forward?
That is entirely up to you, Mr. Chairman.
Well, since that was the right anybody out here.
Yeah.
Let's go right to number 9.
session?
No.
No, it's.
The update on the property.
Okay. Well, first thing I did Monday morning is went by the property, saw that it was indeed still occupied, got a hold of Tony. Tony said, well, let's see, wait a couple of days, because it's a long, drawn-out process, a legal process for evicting people. And, we made several calls over there, never getting any answers or return calls or anything, until this afternoon. She called this afternoon saying she was just finishing up cleaning and, she lost her keys, including the keys to her van. She only had one key left, and I told her they were going to be there a couple hours. Come over and drop that key off. In our office door is left open for her right now to drop that key off. We'll be over there first thing in the morning, start assessing the property, changing it out, I feel, bad for these people, the emphasis. When this girl applied, she had assistance from NewCap. She was being, supported by them as a victim of domestic violence. She needed a place to live. She had her and her several kids. We did all our background checks, reference checks, all of that. She was employed. We rented the apartment, or the house. And very shortly thereafter, things went to hell in a handbasket, of which all of you are aware, because you got it in writing last month of all the stuff that was going on. We immediately began, eviction proceedings. I feel bad that they're not feeling safe in the neighborhood. I don't believe that it's the county's properties are the only issue in that neighborhood. The house was offered to us. We did not go after the house. It was offered to us. And this was after the older gentleman who had lived there for years and years and years had passed. And his son, Jim Viju, was living in the basement. The sister is the one who actually has willed the house. She's the one who contacted the county with the offer to sell, and she's the one we negotiated with. He moved to Kitty Corner. That's that house that's got just a couple of things in the yard.
Just a couple things in the yard?
Just a couple, or is it?
Oh, it's a whole bunch.
Full.
Our tenant property that is unmowed with garbage on it is not acceptable, but makes it look like a golf course compared to the Kitty Corner property. So anyway, supposedly she is out. I don't know where she came up with somebody denied ownership. Noah's the one who got to us immediately. Noah Blunt. Officer Blunt.
Oh, okay.
The one who's in charge of the community.
Service officer.
No, he's an officer. He's the one who's working with the community cleanup on all the...
He's the younger gal, okay.
Anyway, he's the one who provided us with that printout that you got, last month of all the incidents that have been happening there. Once we had all of that, that is what went into our eviction notice to the tenant. Along with all sorts of rule violations for all the stuff that's been going on. Unfortunately, if I could, I would have just gone over there and physically pulled them out of the house. But in Wisconsin, that's not legal. You can't do that. Not only that, but we never got a complaint from this family or any other family with the previous tenant who was in that house. The one before that, we get no complaints about any of our other tenants in our other houses. When we find a troublemaker, we get rid of them. This one just seemed to take off like a rocket ship from doing absolutely nothing to having, I can't remember, I didn't bring it with guys and gals, but I believe there was like 14 or 15 incidents in January and February alone that required the city's response. Don't know, this is news to me, their comment about the city is going to start charging the county. That's news to me. I've never heard that. Nobody has officially come and said that to me. Or have you heard anything about that, Brent? No. I would assume that somebody in a position of authority would contact either Brent or myself or even Jerry and say, hey, you've got such an issue and you've been letting it go for years and years and years, we're going to start charging. But it's not the case.
With a rental, you can't evict until after 1 day.
Oh, we could evict anytime.
April 1st for winter.
Oh, no, there's no, that's a misnomer. There's no rule about eviction in the
But
state
you
of
couldn't in the
Wisconsin.
state of Wisconsin.
You cannot turn off their
You
power.
can't turn off.
You can evict year-round. You can evict
Can
anybody,
we do- We
anytime.
can't do a 5-day eviction for,
A 5-day, according to the statute, Tony handles all this, okay? I'm not doing this on my own.
Okay.
We gave her a 5-day. She happened to be in custody at the time that she was served her 5-day notice. 5 days later, we came back and by statute, the next step is a 28-day notice with no right to cure. We gave her that. That was the date that brought us up to June 1st. Now, if she had refused to stay from there, then there's the $150 filing fee to actually formally get this thing going into the courts,
which we will start tomorrow if she isn't home.
which we will start as soon as Tony says, let's start. I defer to Tony on the legalese stuff. I'm not hired to be a lawyer, so everything that happens, first person I talk to is Tony. And Tony had said that, when I told him that they had not moved out by the 1st, he said, let's wait and see. Does it look like they're moving? And my initial response was no, I didn't see any movement over there. Since then, I've heard from several neighbors in that area that yes, they are indeed moving. I've witnessed it myself today. And then she called this afternoon saying she was going to be done cleaning and would have, the
there's
key
that.
returned.
There's at least 3 cars over there right now with trunks open,
Yep.
packed full of clothes.
How long has she been in?
Right, January?
Yeah, right before Christmas.
Not long.
Well, according to him, it's been 4.5 years.
Well,
We've been renting it.
I know,
And-
and it sounds like she's,
yeah, this one, I fully admit, that we picked a bad one. She seemed okay when she came to us, and she had her kids. Like I said, nobody expects, that they're going to give up their kids, and lose custody of their kids and stuff like that. And
This is recorded, so.
I understand, but if, we'll have to reenact or edit film, whatever. I'm the one who informed them, not multiple times, the time when she called us and was complaining about after their car had gotten hit. She led the conversation into the county purchasing their house. And one time, and I'm not salty about it at all, I said, yeah, I know, we tried. We had a verbal offer accepted on that property purchase. And the realtor we were working with, a different realtor, had a written offer at a higher price. Well, if you're the owner of a property, and somebody comes through without, with the actual paperwork, you're going to take the higher price, which she did. And she said, would the county be interested in purchasing her property? And I said, I don't think you would be very pleased if the county were to go down that road. And she asked why, and I explained to her that the county has a history of looking at assessed value as opposed to, fair market. And I pulled it up right then and there while I was talking with her, and I said, and your assessed value, because she kept saying her appraised value, I said, your assessed value right now is at 96.8. And she said, oh, we paid much more than that. And I said, see, I don't think that you'd be interested if the county were to write you an offer. And I said, chances are it would not be anywhere close to what you want to get out of the property.
Okay, so let's talk about 412
That's
it.
Yeah, that's the property we're talking about.
though. Yeah, well, you're talking about the other house though, too.
Well,
Okay. Condition-wise,
was nice.
what was the house like before? The yard,
Not bad.
they're talking about trees growing up inside the buildings.
In the foundation,
We removed several of those when we bought the house a couple of years ago. And like I said, There was no complaints. We've had it for 4.5 years. We've had 6 or 8 people in there. We had no complaints from anybody. I will be going over and assessing it first thing tomorrow. We actually do, a walkthrough of all our rental properties once a month. And other than being cluttered and things like that, we're trying to get in there and be proactive. Every one of our rental properties we go through once a month. I know the lawn isn't mowed right now, but it was mowed 2 weeks ago. We sent a nasty gram to all of our tenants. Lo and behold, that lawn was mowed. Now, was it done and then raked and picked up? No.
And that's probably gonna have to be done.
Oh, yeah, I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it. But I'm sure there's a lot more in this area that people get, fed up with it and they just cut it and let it lay in the windrows. It is what it is.
If and when we get it back, then you'll become the owner, correct?
Yes, sir. And it'll be raked.
Move around the lawn.
We'll have to do that with Bushmore. It's got a gate. It's got a fenced yard. Yep. Yep, I feel bad for him. I agree. This was a bad thing that came in, and we did everything we could to get rid of him as quick as possible. I just can't physically go over there and change the locks. Going to jail is not in my job description. It's not.
I would like to say to you, though, if they're not out by tomorrow, Tony needs to be.
Tony's in step every step of the way, Sandy.
Okay.
He and I talked about it this morning. When I said I got information yesterday afternoon that they were moving, I emailed him. Great, let's hope it keeps up. I hope I have the keys. Then we'll immediately change the locks.
But there's got to be a succession to this plan. If they do, great. But if they don't,
Then Tony will start.
8:01 tomorrow morning.
The problem is he can file it. The reality of the state of Wisconsin, if you get in evictions, now you're going to get a court date in August or September.
but we still would have to have it. So
I understand, Sandy. I'm not defending
I know.
that tenant,
I know. I know they have their legal rights and we
Yeah,
can't infringe on them, but
I wanted her out as soon as I found out what was going on, and hopefully she's getting out. Because, people, it can take a long time to go all the way to a sheriff's eviction.
I have had to go through one of those where they went out and gathered up the chickens and everything out of the kitchen, and the cops were chasing the chickens. And physically removing the people from the house.
Yep.
It took a long time.
So hopefully, this person is going to be gone, clean it up, and we'll go about fixing it all back up. Hopefully, we're not looking at a whole bunch of damage, and then we'll go through the process again. We've been pretty lucky. We've got a pretty darn good track record of probably 40 people who have moved in and out for all the years that we've owned these rental properties. One problem tenant. And it's a pretty good track record.
What do we do with, and I'm just asking, what do we do with the property is not, if there's extensive damage?
Well, that was a question I was just going to say is, before you start doing repairs, if there's extensive damages, notify us.
Well, if there's extensive damages, I won't touch it.
Right.
I'll wait, and the next meeting
If
we
there's
have,
extensive
we'll all
damages,
go
to
on.
file a claim.
Oh, yeah, we're small claims.
Well, but I mean, depending upon how big it is, it may exceed the small claim.
Oh, yeah, it might. It might.
But I mean, regardless if it's small or not, if there's extensive damage and the walls are kicked in or whatever, you call the sheriff's department, well, I guess you call the
USC
city.
Police Department.
City.
I'll have you over. We'll go take a look.
There you go.
If it's bad, we'll just get
If it's bad, I'll let you know.
So that's fine.
But if it's bad, there'll be a grant out there to give us an estimate to get rid of it.
Yeah.
Is there asbestos in there?
Probably.
Oh, I don't think so.
Can't let they paint. But we don't have to worry about that. So, we'll hope for the best.
Okay,
We've had damage before in some of our properties, but it's never been so extensive that we can't get it back up and rolling.
Could you bring this back to us next meeting?
I certainly will.
Thank you.
I guess if they're out and they leave a bunch of crap where they can see good guys over it.
I'm already planning on that. I'm planning on the inside being messed up and dirty, and we're already counting on that.
and then again, you might get there and be surprised.
I doubt it.
Might leave you,
$5. $25. $500.
leave your present on the mantle.
Oh, we've had that before too.
Okay, well, let's move on then. We're done with that one. Discuss possible additional events to be held at the Crawford Center.
Okay. You guys received in your packet the information that we had gotten from Carla. And basically, she sent me a copy of the flea market ordinance, what it would cost to have an event such as a gun show in there. The chief's biggest, and this is via Carla, his concern obviously would be security. I wouldn't think that any guy who's running a gun show
I was just gonna say.
is not going to provide security for tables and tables and tables full of collectible, antique, and operational firearms. Obviously, we would stipulate if somebody wanted to do this, that they would be required to hire an armed, licensed, authorized, off-duty law enforcement officer to provide security. That would just be a requirement.
And I think they typically do.
I would think so, and I'm sure that there's a couple of guys at the city that say, sure, I'm off that day. I'll go sit in a lazy boy in a corner and, watch TV. There's a TV in the lobby. Anyway, that was the discussion last month. I guess I would like to, make some contact, or Jerry, if you'd like to make some contact.
I've got
And-
a couple individuals I could contact. I was, quite frankly, when I read the Chapter 7 license and permits, I didn't think it was a flea market, but
That was, when my initial response from Carla was, no, we don't think there's going to be anything. And I spoke with her and said, well, that's good, because in the past, and this was prior to Carla's time and prior to my time at the Crawford Center, I explained what had happened and what she went, wait a minute. Let me get back to you. After I mentioned something like the flea market, I think she talked to Tim Schmidt. Tim Schmidt said, oh, yes, many years ago. And then I got the email saying, nope, and here's the copy of the email. So, basically, it was felt, yep, you would need a license like that. Now, it's very reasonable. I mean, $25 for 100 vendors would be nothing. These guys,
I'd be willing to pay that.
Yeah.
Put 'em in here.
well, these guys charge each guy for the table $100.
Yeah, $75 to $100.
Okay, so you put 100 tables in there, there's a good chunk of change. That's a good chunk of change.
And that's just there, not counting if you have, say, 2 people per vendor space,
Uh-huh.
they're gonna need hotels,
Uh-huh.
and food,
Uh-huh.
gas.
Casino coupons.
Anyway, so that's where we stand. If you want to put them in contact with me,
I will sit here and
Yeah.
couple
Or if
phone
you
calls
wanna-
tomorrow, because, I will have them get in contact with you, but I will.
I just like to have them come down. I can send them, a floor plan, show them how much space we've got. These guys like to do actually eyes on, make sure that they've got the parking and things that they need. So I'd be more than happy to work with them and see what they come up with. And if they want it, I'll bring it to you guys and, set a rate like you always do.
Yep.
That would be something else, like going back to that late fee schedule. We had that in there so that somebody would know what it would cost to rent.
You've got it.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, we do have a certain rate for,
I know, but I mean, then the public wouldn't have to come in to you guys and see if it's nonprofits, this, and it's profits.
but where we'd like to get an established event that would be annually, I would be willing to negotiate at least the first year down so that we all come out winners.
Yep, and as long as they know that this is a, get your foot in the door price, and, and the reason that the groups come to us is because as they can come and lobby for lower, higher, lower fees and things like that. I mean, our rental rate is in that list you asked for, and, the wording that Tony gave it was, gives the latitude to go any way we want to, or they want to. So that's all I got on that.
All right. Review the closeout of the 2014 hockey season at Crawford Center.
You guys got that. Yep. Even though they overpaid their rent by $1,800, they still owed us $8,000 at the end of the year. They've been invoiced.
They've paid it already.
They've already paid it.
They paid the $8,000?
Yep. And they are booked for the Tri-Land camp that you guys authorized, and Greg asked me to pass along to you. Thank you very much for the consideration of the, their past tenancy and working and setting that price. They are booked. Tony cranked out the lease for June, a couple weeks from now. They're in there. 13th. They'll be in there for a one-day dry camp.
All right, move on then. Discuss and possibly take action on replacement cooler at the Crawford.
Okay, this is one of those glass reach-ins, kind of like a merchandising cabinet. It was used when it was originally put into the Crawford Center, obviously. It operated under the Hockey League and the hockey group, whatever they were, that ran the Crawford Center before it was donated to the county. It's been in there since the county received it, which I believe is at least 10 years.
Is this like a sliding glass door cabinet?
Mm-hmm. And basically, it's going to cost $1,400 to repair it, but it's an old beat-up unit. $2,869 to replace it. We've got the money in the budget, but
I know.
that was my feeling, but I needed to hear that.
Making that a motion?
Motion's made and seconded to approve buying a new cooler at $2,869. Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
You did get Sandy's second, right?
Yeah.
You caught that right away. Hearing's good, it's just his eyesight that's bad.
Can hear, discuss, rank, and prioritize capital improvement projects.
All right. Yeah, this is one that came in after the fact. I apologize, but I thought, I can't really afford to wait a whole other year before it gets in front of you, whether it gets approved and gets any funding. That's a crapshoot, but basically, when we were going through the upgrade that's happening at the jail sheriff's department, it turns out that the two systems are not compatible. And where we used to be able to pull up one system and look at the jail, although things were backwards and it was very cumbersome and we couldn't really do a lot, the new system is wonderful. It's great. It screams. But it's not compatible with the old one. So now, to look at the air handlers, I got to open this program. To look at the floor plan, I got to open this program. And it's a pain in the butt. And I said, well, what happens if one of them goes bad here at the courthouse, because the courthouse system is, is out there too. And they said, that thing is no longer manufactured, the system you've got in the courthouse. You'd have to upgrade and replace that too. And I said, okay, great. So what am I looking at to get everything copacetic, hunky-dory into one program at the head end of things? And they give me the price for the two of them we would, need, or four of them actually, and that's what's in the kit before you.
So explain this to me, what the heck this really is in layman's terms.
I thought I did, but anyway.
No, not
So you have one ventilation system here and one ventilation system
Correct.
here. That, if I just understood it, because this is the first time I've heard it too, so, but A is not talking to B. So
Bingo.
what C would do is coordinate, so you'd have a triangle that A and B talk to each other.
So is this computer technology stuff?
Yes.
This is what it was, a Jace, which is just they can call it a cucumber, I don't care. It's a network integration gateway allowing dissimilar systems that aren't the same, to function together and communicate between themselves. So this is somebody speaking Chinese, somebody speaking Spanish, and somebody speaking Russian. Nobody can communicate. You send them to somebody who can translate that, and that makes it to where they can communicate amongst each other.
Why don't we just buy American and then you don't have to worry about translation?
If I could get American, unfortunately, there's quite a few schools that if you go in and never, I'm not going to. I'm going to kick that soapbox away.
And I don't know, and I'm actually asking you guys that are on the KIP committee, do all of our stuff having to deal with computer stuff, do they go through TS?
The computer stuff goes through TS.
So TS would have to
And
do
I-
this also, right, or be a part of it? I mean, all of our, why?
See,
Why not?
that was.
This is mechanical.
Yeah, but
It's
it's
still
software.
It's still software.
It's software.
It's software. I actually wrote on there tech services because I thought, okay, if this has got anything to do with computers, what the heck is it here in property? Why isn't it in?
Well,
And I didn't know, I'm just asking, because I.
Was all
honestly-
computers.
What?
The one we just did is all computer-based. Of course, it's got valve actuators and damper motors and stuff like that, but it's also a bunch of these little, controllers that, I guess technically they're electronic and, there's a computer. Tech Services isn't involved in this.
But they should be.
And they probably will be now.
And that's quite fine with me. I don't mind that a bit.
No, and I'm not saying that against, I'm just saying, because I don't know, I was asking the guys on the KIP committee, these two are, but if the techs or anything, and I'm only talking from past experience, where anything tech was, they may not be the leading voice on it, but they're involved in it, just because of how it may interface with our system.
But here, I don't know if I don't think they will.
Oh yeah, they've been involved in the system we're doing. Oh yeah, they work with the system integrator, Max, the network administrator, and Mike Van Zeeland email back and forth to set these, how to get the firewalls, how to get the IP addresses, and all of that
That's what
kind
I'm
of
asking,
stuff.
just.
Oh yeah, they're always involved. If you want them,
No, and I was just, the only other part of
Boy,
that is.
TS has got a lot of money in their account, don't they?
Well, there is money.
Well, that's licensing fees.
Let's not.
I know I can get in trouble.
Is the power plant still over here? Or do they have their own two sites? Two separate?
Oh yeah, it's been two separate since the year after I started. Yeah, the big Kiwani steam boilers.
So boilers went in over the basement down there? So why do we need them integrated?
No, what we've got right now is the building management systems can't talk to one another. Okay, and so as I mentioned, I can pull up an air handler here. Somebody calls from the sheriff's department and says, "Hey, it's it's warm in the training room," which we just had this week. I go to one program, I pull up the training room, and I say, oh, okay, well, the VAV is open, this is the temperature and stuff like that. Now I want to go and look at the air handler that's attached to that VAV. Now I got to open a complete different program.
It's not the same program.
Exactly. Like I said, A and B don't talk to one another because of the technology differences. Primarily, basically, ours is old. We just got rid of an older one and put in a spanking brand new one. This Maserati passed our old clunker Chevy.
But I was misunderstanding. I thought you were talking two different buildings.
That's what I thought he was talking at first too. I thought,
We are talking two different buildings.
You're talking
but
that building.
you're still
this
talking,
building.
you're talking that building, air handler, and VAV box.
What's
Right.
a VAB?
Variable air volume.
It's a box that's off of the air handler.
Why can't they still be separate and you operate?
I can. That's fine and dandy. This just makes it more seamless. Makes it so that they're talking to one another. Because right now, one system doesn't know if the VAV box shuts down all the way, it doesn't communicate back to the brain and in the air handler. So,
You're able to do it, correct?
sure, no problem.
You just want $78,000 to make it simpler.
I want $70,000 to update everything because, like I said, if one of the ones here in the courthouse goes bad, then I'm going to come here and say I don't have time to plan for it. Now, give me $10,000 or $12,000 so I can get it done right now. My job is to point you guys in the right direction. You choose to follow that, that's fine. You choose not to, that's fine. I'm okay with it. I really am.
10 or 12,000, 70,000.
Times 4 it is.
Okay, 48,000 is 70,000.
Whatever. I just pulled a figure out of the air, Jerry. Yep, if you read it, it's for
Yes.
4.
Yes.
So take the amount, divide it by 4, and 1/4 of that is what we would need to fix one of the 4 we have. So,
I know where he's coming from.
I'm okay
This
with
stuff probably should be updated.
I agree too, but we're two separate systems, right?
No, we're not two separate systems.
I thought you just said
I
we
thought you
were
just
separate
said that.
systems.
So where we're getting lost in translation.
Yeah.
The courthouse has one old one. The sheriff's department and jail has an old one and a new one.
So there's 3.
So when they put the new controls in the jail over there, they didn't tie it back to the air handlers?
No, they didn't. Okay. The jail's got its own air handlers.
Right.
We've got our own air handlers.
Right.
We had one system, okay, before. Well, the courthouse got a new system put in, okay? And it was all, when we did the whole HVAC system in here, the ducting, the air handlers, everything. 4 or 5 years later, the GCM over there went, and luckily, they were, that's a technical term.
That's what happens up here.
Well, I'm on camera, so I can't say what I was gonna say. Anyway, and so they found a guy in a mill that had that CB network in a 6000 system, was able to integrate it, and we put a new head end, a physical device over there, connected it to our system. Okay? But like I said, when we did this whole thing, if I wanted a face damper opened, I actually had to tell it to close. Then we had to physically have somebody go over there and see it because it's the hybrid DDC pneumatic system. So you weren't really sure if that damper actually closed, even though it told you it was closed.
It's
So
funny because there's only one person nodding his head that
He has a furnace business.
And here's your other thing
I
with the
can go
whole
and
thing.
break it way down if you
All right,
like.
here's the other thing with the whole thing. You've got this messed up system. It needs to be fixed. Okay? He's gone for a week and something goes wrong. Who's going to run it?
The brains in there.
Where the hell is she going?
All my guys are trained on the systems. They can get in.
I was trying to get you the new system. Now you're throwing it out.
So let me ask
No,
this.
but it's,
So then would it be better from the new guy on the outside looking in would it be better then to upgrade the other systems so that they all can talk? I
That's
understand.
this.
That's this.
All right, but we're still gonna have, as he said, 2 old Chevy pieces of crap, right? With one, what was the other one you used?
Well,
The
actually-
Jaguar or whatever it was?
Mazda.
Okay.
All right, but what I'm saying is, so if these 2 are brought up to the same system that aren't that old Chevy,
Right.
not without having a box talk to them, wouldn't that get us in the same position?
And this, yeah, this.
So would it be better to do the KIP then on upgrading the air handling systems?
It's not so much the air handling systems that are needing to be upgraded. It's not the actual fans and those kind of things. This is the graphic communication link between the two.
The interface between.
And this,
All right,
Yes.
I'm a simple man, so I just gotta make sure I'm understanding what you're saying.
right, and I like that people understand. I'm trying to, to break it down to where you understand. This, it's called a JSON, that's what it does, but if we replace the stuff we've got, okay, it takes over that head end that we've got there. So now we don't have, the Chevy and the Maserati. Now we've got 4 Buicks. We're all set. Everything's on an even keel. Everything's on a level playing field.
We can't get anything better than you.
Now, can you listen? Can you hear yourself? I can hear Marlon Nofke right now. As a matter, he's probably on his way over here. Because Marlon always says that Dreher wants nothing but a Cadillac. Isn't that right, Marlon?
Maserati.
Well, I'm using, okay, fine. Anyway, whatever your pleasure is, guys, I'm here telling you, can I limp through? Yes, we can. I didn't say that. I'm here.
But he's also following my directives that when I told all the department heads on, get us every possible KIP that you know of instead of just holding it, so that you guys are aware of it. So that then you're not going, well, why didn't somebody tell us about this 4 years ago when we could have been starting to wait for it?
Put it out there.
So you got another wish list.
Not
Yeah,
my
but it's
wish
still gotta
list.
get approved by 2 more.
Not my
Well, it's
wish
gotta go
list.
through KIP.
I know, KIP and the county board.
Yeah.
Great
So-
schedule.
So he is actually following my directive. Obviously, we've not had discussion. He told me he had a KIP coming here, but yeah, okay. You can see I'm a simple man. That's why I'm doing HR instead.
So we need to rank this?
Yeah.
I guess, what I was thinking about, I mean, that's the technical, what finance wants everything done. I think all we really need from you
You
guys
marked it as necessary, so.
is, eventually it'll be
Since we're not doing
urgent.
2 or 3 of them right now, I mean, it's the only one you've got. If you
Yeah.
approve it, it's,
Well, it'll go in with the mix with all of
Yeah,
this.
we got a list of them
Right.
already.
Yeah,
Right.
we did it.
And,
and if you're gonna rank it, you'd actually have to look at the other list to see what
Well, Julie, I'm sure has got.
she doesn't need to pull it in right now.
What? I can pull it up.
No, you don't need to.
Oh, okay.
You can.
but I guess you could also
Well,
say
first
to
one is a
include it.
ranking.
Yeah, to include it and let the ranking be by the KIP committee. I mean, that's where it's gonna end up falling down anyway.
Right.
Doesn't matter what you guys rated as number 1, the KIP committee's gonna get it and they're gonna decide where it fits in the overall scheme of things anyway.
Nothing.
Yeah, it's in there. Give me the
All right, I'll rank it.
I'll get all of the asbestos. I'll get everything. Well, I should say
We
all
put
4.
necessary.
What?
You put it as necessary.
No, I didn't put it as necessary. Steve put it as necessary.
And you get by consensus.
But you rank it with something else.
I didn't bring a ranking.
No, we
Sure,
don't
as you
rank
say,
it.
Yeah,
you
it's
just
the
have
only
to-
one.
It's the only
I know,
one.
What
that's
do you
why-
got it at? You got it at a 4. What do you got it at?
I have 5.
I
I
wish the
put
other
it
ones
at a
looked at
5.
before I ranked it.
What do you got it at?
Give me a 5.
Okay, we got 3 5s and a 4.
Okay.
What did the others rank out?
I can look it
rank
up.
that high. No, don't. Let's keep moving.
This will be,
It's gonna get rated again anyway.
Get rated again.
like I said,
You're gonna chew it apart
So
anyway,
then-
the KIP committee.
Right.
all I need from you guys is action to include it in this year's KIPS.
Yes,
Then I'm
I'll make a motion to move this project forward to the KIP committee.
I'll second it.
Motion been made and seconded to move this project forward to the KIP committee. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
We're probably looking at a couple months
Hey,
anyways.
we'll let the KIP committee.
Weren't you the guy that was anti-Cinco de Mayo, and here you are,
Anyways, right?
Okay, update on tax deed foreclosure in Rem properties.
Basically, this is the week I was out doing Mattoon and did the Coons Lake today. Yep.
Actually, what's the two last week?
Tigerton is
It's over
Thursday.
so-
No, they're all done this week. Yeah, I'll be doing Tigerton on Thursday. I believe that's right here in your sheet that I gave you. Tigerton, yes, Thursday, June 4th. I'll be out doing them on Thursday.
How'd the open house go in the city of Shawnee?
I don't know, I'm not doing that one.
Oh, it was yesterday.
For the first time since I've been here and involved with this, the treasurer's office did a couple of the open houses, so I have no idea how it went.
Okay.
They didn't even go down and look at that, so Bert was at that meeting, they didn't go down and look at it, so I don't know how they can say the boat's gone.
The boat's gone from the Coons Lake property.
Yeah, we took it.
Steve took it?
Oh,
The last
I
one.
thought it was supposed to stay there.
It's just the most of it.
Right there it
Some
is.
to take it.
Did you
Stay
take
with
it
your
out to
aluminum
the
ores.
treatment plant?
Yep.
Works.
Well, I haven't put it in the water yet, it's out in the storage shed. Looks
I thought
fine.
you were putting it in the water out there.
He will, but once.
When I need to go in there, I'm not gonna let.
Well, you should check it out, see if it floats.
If it sinks, you don't get
That's
to put it in
what I was
storage.
You
saying.
buy that spray thing that the guy spray paints his door with?
You don't think I put me in the boat to test whether it floats, do ya?
Oh, okay.
What do you think Julie's job is?
Test it.
That's why she might not be here.
And that's about it.
Thursday, you're gonna be in Tigerton.
Yes, sir.
I may look you up.
I thought you already knew about all these from getting them in finance and.
Stop at the coffee shop on your way up to Tigerton, because I'm sure Jerry will be there. Oh,
Tigerton has a coffee shop?
At the gas station.
no.
Ate lunch there one day. It was
On Main
It
Street.
was good.
There's actually two.
Okay.
A round table with each.
Anything else on that?
Nope, that was just letting you
Okay.
guys know.
So some bids have been coming in already or not?
Well, I don't know if the bids are coming in. I just started doing open houses today, and I had probably 20 people at the Mattoon property, and I had 2 people take
People
bid.
People at the property?
Yep, at the old grocery store.
Really?
Well, come on now, guys. Anytime you do something like that in Mattoon, everybody that came in here said, "I remember when I was a kid." These people are probably
They're reminiscing.
a little older than I am by 20.
30 years.
Is that a Mattoon?
Well, I was 30 years younger, I'd buy it there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Is that a metal sign? That sucker's worth money. We should have got it off there.
You
Never
should
thought
see
of
the
it.
tin ceilings and the tin coving.
Oh, get it out.
Is it really?
No, it's too late.
It's too late.
It's and you know how expensive it is to get that stuff down without bending it.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's $6,000 to $8,000 worth of just tin ceiling. The whole thing,
Beautiful.
probably 80 feet long by 40 feet wide, is all tin ceiling.
Make that stuff out of plastic now, it looks just the same.
Okay.
Yeah,
Discuss and we ain't gotta take any action on that. Discuss and possibly take action on Pearl's rules for use of new meeting room, equipment and systems located therein.
Okay. Anyway, what I did is I broke down the meeting room policy, and we had talked about this briefly several months ago, and I brought it back.
This one or this one?
The one that's
Red
got
one.
the color, it just makes
So
it
this
light.
one can be
Yeah,
thrown
that
away.
can be tossed. I forgot to print it in color so that you can see what the changes were. This meeting room policy was adopted by the Public Property Committee, I want to say probably 15 years ago.
Then it's outdated.
Exactly.
How come it took this long to bring it back?
Because we haven't really had anything going on. All right. What I did is I taken liberty to add some things in here. The first one is the county committees and things like that have priority use in the meeting rooms. What I think about adding is this may include a scheduled meeting being relocated and or canceled to accommodate committees, boards, or commissions, which basically means if PD&Z needs to have an emergency meeting some night and there's the CAT group is scheduled in the meeting room and that's where PD&Z wants to meet, they trump the CAT group. CAT group goes bye-bye. I'm not picking on the CAT group or 4-H programs in any way, shape, or form. I'm just saying, I have heard rumor from some other department heads that have scheduled committee meetings, and because of the nature of some of the meetings and the loud youth in them, that they have actually had to move their meetings to a different meeting room, and it's a standing county committee.
Well, that problem should be alleviated with room 7 downstairs.
Well, it may or may not be. That's why I'm proposing that we look at these rules, okay? Again, just had a recent issue on the second one in there about the county boardroom. The last meeting, somebody had a meeting the night before you guys had a county board meeting, and they brought, according to the department head I talked to, it was just a tray of cookies. Well, it turned out that it was all over the supervisor's desks, all the way under the supervisor's desks, all sorts of extra cleaning and things like that.
No box of cookies?
No.
Yeah, that's in my truck here somewhere.
The third one down is there's restricted use of the county boardroom. What I suggest adding is if the county boardroom is used after permission is obtained, the equipment installed for the county board voting system shall not be moved or disturbed. I know you guys have heard it from Rosie, or if you haven't, I have. You told us about people go in there for a meeting and they have physically disconnected the printer for printing the voters, moved the podium out of the way and snapped off the microphone cord and stuff like that. If somebody needs it for a legitimate reason and they want things rearranged, we'll be happy to do it.
And say a lot of it is court.
A lot of it has got to do with visiting judges and clerk of courts. When they walk in there, they just do whatever it is that, I need this witness stand, move this stuff, get this thing off of here, my court reporter has to sit here. You're here for one day. You don't need your court reporter to be sitting at this little itty-bitty desk. Sit your court reporter out to the side a little bit. She still can hear. She can still do her little thing.
Did you tell them that?
We don't have that in our rules, so I can't tell them that.
Can we go back to the one above that?
Sure.
So does that mean for a county board meeting, and I know there has to be on a 26, probably at least 15 that bring in a bottle of water or something to drink during the county board meeting, so you want them to get permission from you?
Granted, blanket prior approval to county board meetings, period, done. I'm not saying I outweigh them, and no, the county board members, we've done coffee and cookies and sandwiches.
Right, but I'm just saying, let's not.
When did we do sandwiches?
We've done them like for
Jenny's
a budget meeting or something that's going into lunch.
Yeah. Long time.
They brought sandwiches over from the gym.
I just don't want to have some of the
Yes.
board members raising the issue that.
Oh, no,
the
and-
county, maybe you want to say the county board is exempt from that.
I could do that.
I mean, that's just a thought. Then there's no discussion.
I think that's a good,
I certainly wouldn't restrict it anyways to the board
Yeah.
members.
no, I wouldn't either. It's
That's
not
what I'm
intended, this gets posted
So
down.
then it should be
Yeah.
county board members are exempt from this.
Yep.
County board meetings, because
County board
Yeah.
meetings. Yeah, just county board meetings.
Shall be exempted.
I know, Miss Cards.
I'm trying to, guys. Okay, we got that one. All right, the
Make money.
fourth one down is where we're talking about our new meeting room. It's meeting room 7. And I'm proposing that there's restricted use of that meeting room, shall only be used by standing county committees or during a declared emergency as an auxiliary EOC for use by emergency management. Additional uses may be considered on a case-by-case basis. And basically, I'm naming myself because everything else comes back to us. Go for it.
We had also mentioned that, standing county committees, we had also mentioned that, department heads, staff could use it.
Oh, yeah.
You're right, I mean, if I wanted to have a management meeting in there, but I don't want them to schedule, the department head to schedule the CAT meeting.
Yes.
No outside meetings,
Well,
period.
and I don't want, public health to schedule their meeting in there. They don't need it. What I was thinking of with the additional uses is, there's going to be a classroom that somebody from, such and such a place needs to get certification to get distance education.
Well, but I could also see emergency operations using it for a meeting. I mean, since it will also be an alternate EOC site.
I'm just trying to
Yeah,
leave it
limit
open, and
Budget
if,
meetings.
You,
Budget meetings.
Right.
well, that's a
We're
standing
cramped
county.
in here.
but the other thing, if you want to
We're freezing.
buy the maintenance supervisor in his absence, if you want, you can put me on there.
Finance department.
I'll just,
That would work.
I can do that, hold it, I can do better
No,
than that.
no, you can't. You get to, in addition
You were
to.
eliminating yourself.
No.
Can't I just misspell
No.
and just, instead of maintenance supervisor, how about just the administrative coordinator? I like that.
No. That would be
By the
only
maintenance supervisor and/or.
in his
Administrative coordinator.
in his or her absence.
Yeah,
And
got it. The last one on here, and we'll be done with this if you guys are okay with it, is, actually it's not the last one. Union groups representing, there is no more unions. Can we strike
Yes,
that?
there is.
Well, there is, but
Oh.
they're not going to meet there.
But they
They're not
wouldn't be
gonna
They wouldn't be
here.
meeting here.
Right.
The one union.
Then then should I leave it in there in
Take it
case?
out. You can take it out because they have a room over there.
Yeah. Over there, it's free. If we,
Yeah.
if we leave this in, they aren't gonna move over here because they can get a bigger group and it'd be free. At least this way, if they do decide to move over here,
I would
you're
leave it
still-
in.
You're still charging them.
Then,
Once there's no more unions, then we can go ahead and strike it.
Yeah, but
You
there's
know.
still our union shifts.
Yep. The other change was AV equipment used to be finance, it's now technology services. I cleaned up a couple little things where it used to say room 6, well, we changed the meeting room designations to A, B, and C. So, now I don't know whether this has to go to the full county board or not. I can't.
I wouldn't think so.
I didn't think so either. It was established and approved by the previous Public Property Committee. I think that you guys can amend the meeting room policy as you see fit.
I would say we should give copies to all the board members.
I'll provide the copies if you guys approve it, and
I would
It
say,
take an hour.
If we had to take this policy in front of the board,
Oh, yeah,
I
you're right.
guarantee you, it
You're
would
right.
take an hour.
Not at night.
I'm gonna make
especially
a
if I
motion
said
that we
$100,000
approve
more.
this new policy, the revisions in the new policy, and that we send copies of the new policy with next month's board packets.
But you could have, it's going to be in the minutes when they approve the minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, you have that a second.
I'll second his motion.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the updated meeting room policy,
But don't-
meeting room policy, and forward copy to,
Well, why not just forward copies to the department heads?
Yeah, because it'll be in the minutes for your board members.
okay,
It'll be in the packet.
department heads, there, we changed it.
You got it.
All those in favor, say aye.
Oh, yeah, you did.
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Move on.
Okay, I believe this is where you got your amended.
We need to go to closed session? No.
Training request.
Oh, training
Oh,
request.
training request.
Yeah, there's on there, I don't know, is that in the packet?
I'm damn glad
That
he's
basic
gone.
comply, that new DNR thing.
Yep. The SSO rule, basically, it would cost you guys the use of a truck to get there.
Why do you want to know what the code changes are at Glenville?
So you can get them to update course.
Judy McGee asked me to come in and sit in, and Mary Beth Keister doesn't want to see me in her town.
Judy McGee's going to jail, I think.
Oh, yeah, I read that article.
Huh? I know, but it was in the paper.
That was good.
Anyway,
Can you make a motion so we can get this meeting going? We're approving him going on his trip.
Oh, I'll make a motion, he goes.
I will second that.
Motion been made and seconded to
Big
approve
word is
Steve's attending and training on the code
Changes in
well, she's
Glenville.
got it. The Glenville's code changes.
Oh, with his little truck. All those in favor, his new lawnmower, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed.
Truck in charge of mileage.
Boy, I hope other board members don't watch these.
Oh, they do. They do. And
I
other
know a few of them
department
that will.
Do we need a closed session?
heads. Yes.
Yes?
All right. You get.
Why are you saying that?
But I was told to.
It's on no, but they get to decide.
I'm sorry. No, I meant he specifically.
What's it for?
Yeah.
I was called.
It is pursuant to Wisconsin State Statute 19.85, Parent 1, Parent C and E, to discuss any personal issues or issues related to a tenant or property owned by Shawano County.
Probably got posted wrong.
No, it was personnel. I was told that. I was told by Tony
Investing
that.
of public funds or conducting other business, whatever competitive and bargaining reasons are required.
No,
I don't know.
Do we have any updates on any properties out there that anybody's been talking to? Okay.
Let's move on to number 13 then, departmental
Okay.
update of monthly activities. How's
Okay, you got that, man, your packet. I've got just a couple of things that I always do.
They introduced you? Want to go to
In there, you got a couple of these also, these little things. Did you bother to read them
Sure
first?
it is. I don't
Notice?
Yeah, but it sounds like if we don't have to do anything with it anyway, right?
Okay.
That's
Okay.
what I got out of it, because then the determination, there was nothing we had to worry about.
How come I don't even have it?
Correct? Or am I?
Basically, here,
Oh,
let me give you the meat of this whole thing.
preliminary determination, is that where we are?
In the preliminary determination, the Department of Administration recommends the Department of Natural Resources move forward in seeking approval of a multi-discharger variance for phosphorus from the US EPA. All this stuff we've been gearing up for with the phosphorus limitations, this is saying the state wants a variance from the EPA that we don't have to enforce it. So that's the good stuff. I just wanted to make sure everybody understood that I don't just throw this in there for extra paper.
Yeah, when I read it, I thought, okay, we don't have to do anything.
No, we
At
don't.
this present time,
If it passes and the EPA allows it,
They're gonna worry
But-
about phosphorus, then they're gonna worry about all the farmers.
just wait and we'll see. Anyway, you've got all those. Just the only thing I've got to add on that is we had a bent tie rod on the new tractor here at the courthouse, and it was, hear me out,
What you got?
everybody claims they didn't hit anything. Well, the tie rod rides in between front and rear, the rear axle and the weights. It's also higher than that. It was bent in a perfect U shape. The new one comes over and does that. Dennis Rue said, I think you guys must hit something, but his mechanic who was here said, we said, okay. There's 2 small marks on the bottom of that tie rod. No marks anywhere else. How exactly do we get something high enough to get to the tie rod, which is about this high, without hitting the weights or the rear axle? And he and I are in discussions right now as to whether or not that's a warranty issue, because it was a perfect round bend. Nobody ever noticed it until Chuck Steer, the guy who cuts the grass, said, you know, this one doesn't steer as easy as the one out at Maple Lane does. We went out and looked at it. Different. So, we're having small disputes with motors.
Could a small part of a limb or stick got up there and bent it?
Probably not.
It's 3/4 inch steel.
Yeah, well, I
That
think-
long. It could, I suppose. Or is it possible that perhaps somebody from Rue Motors, when they were transporting 2 of these on a flatbed trailer, decided to strap off to that? Very true. No crack in the paint, no 2 little itty bitty marks, but there's no marks on anything else. If I double wrap a strap around a 3/4 inch bar in the back and it bends, I'm going to leave 2 little marks on the bottom of that thing, but not touch and make a mark on anything else. Just letting you know that we're doing this. I'm not gonna, you know, if the guy is adamant that this is not warranty, then we'll pay the man. And we decided we're gonna probably do all of our stuff through Service Motors anyway, after we get done with warranty. Yeah, no, your car.
Okay.
We have beavers?
That's it.
What?
We have a beaver issue. It's on this report.
Yeah, beaver issue. Yeah, we also have skunks. I didn't put the skunks on there.
They don't, skunk, it's gonna be a beaver
You know
issue.
where the skunks are at?
Where?
Same place the beaver issue was, but the beaver issue
jail?
is gone now.
Okay.
Over there.
All right.
No.
New business that is requested for future committee or board consideration.
412 Franklin, 412 Franklin
yeah.
Street.
Oh, that'll be on there for sure.
Crawford Center,
Well, if I hear anything from those guys by then,
and you will.
good enough.
So I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna call Don tomorrow and I'm gonna have him get a hold of you.
Please let me know that I'm out of the office the rest of the week.
He's in rem sales.
Tell them to contact me next week.
You got a calendar?
That'd be great.
Sunday tea.
And is there, you got a couple of
Steve
them?
does.
Any other business?
I don't know, we gotta get one in here again.
Scheduled next meeting date.
7th.
How does the 4th, where does the 4th fall?
Fourth is
Saturday.
Saturday.
And I'm out of town.
On the
Ladies
7th.
and gentlemen, I'm out of town from the 5th all the way through the 11th.
Well, ain't you just a special?
And I won't be here on the 13th and 14th.
Oh, and he won't be here the 13th and 14th.
That's the following week.
Well, then, I guess.
It's my annual
Can we-
out on Lake
you wanna do
Michigan
July
Gulf
1st?
person. Salmon.
Wednesday, Canada Day.
Oh, the 1st?
First is fine.
Canada Day?
That's what it says.
There's still.
What day of it? Is it a Tuesday?
It's a Wednesday.
Tuesday's the 2nd.
Oh.
No.
Tuesday, it is not.
How
July?
could Tuesday be a second?
July 4th is on a
Thursday.
Thursday, I meant to say. I need new glasses.
Sandy, you got a little card.
Another card for you.
We got.
Can't we do it there? Or was that out of the question?
No.
How about do we do June 30th? It's after county board meeting.
There's nothing prohibits you from doing 2 in 1 month.
Nope.
We have one in July.
And if I don't have stuff, we may not need a meeting at all. But,
You're gonna have stuff, because you already got
They
stuff.
already
Oh,
got a
yeah,
couple
we
on
have
the
some
agenda.
you bet. Okay,
Yeah.
do it on 30th. I don't care.
June
Works for me.
30th, does that work for everybody?
I'm here. It's up to you. I'm here.
Because this date I might have public property in or public safety.
Wednesday?
Yeah, so that wouldn't work.
Why? Why wouldn't that work?
Yeah.
Because sometimes I'm not even done by 6 o'clock. I'm not like the highway.
You don't have to be
meetings
until
are only go for
6:15.
20
Two
minutes.
meetings in one day.
There we go again.
6:15 we have to be here, it's not 6 o'clock.
6:15.
Yeah,
Okay, 6:15, June 30th,
yeah,
Tuesday.
yeah,
That's fine.
okay.
I thought we were doing Wednesday the first.
No, because then that might bump into that other one.
See, I think we should Wednesday first.
Okay. Property on Tuesday the 30th.
Mr. Double meeting every month with highway committee members.
Yeah, and I'm saving you guys money.
No, you're not. Okay, motion to adjourn. Motion made and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye.